The original Dead Space was released in 2008 and is regarded as one of the best survival horror games ever made. For many, the mix of intense action, terrifying atmosphere, and nightmarish sights and sounds created one of the most memorable gaming experiences of the past 2 decades. With 2 direct sequels alongside several spin-off games, comics, novels, and more, the Dead Space universe has expanded quite a bit since the debut of the first game. With a remake of the original set to release in January 2023, fans are eager to return to Isaac Clarke's rig and once again survive the horrors of USG Ishimura. While remakes and remasters have grown into a dime a dozen, the differences between the two are significant. Remasters tend to be lighter overall, offering increases in resolution and texture quality while offering various surface-level upgrades. Remakes, on the other hand, are usually completely new versions of games. These are updated from the ground up with new assets, gameplay systems, and quality-of-life improvements while trying to stay true to the original. As a full remake, Dead Space aims to recapture what made the original so popular while adding a few new surprises that aim to enhance the experience even further. Remakes make old games look like new. Recent remakes include Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3, Demon's Souls, and most recently The Last of Us Part 1. The original games are all beloved games in their own right, and fans laud the remakes for preserving what made the core experiences so strong. At the same time, they use modern gameplay, graphics, and audio to enhance the atmosphere, suspense, world building, and storytelling. Dead Space seems to handle it perfectly so far, ensuring that the main components of the original remain intact and improved where possible. The developers of the remake are also adding a number of underlying systems to improve the game in the most crucial areas. Dead Space's original developer Visceral Games was shut down by EA in 2017, leaving developer Emotive to do the remake. Luckily for fans, Emotive has shown they understand what made the original so great by being extremely open in their communication throughout the game's development. This includes community comment sessions, live streams, gameplay presentations, and interviews showing that this is a true passion project for the team. Completely rebuilt on the Frostbite engine, Dead Space is able to take full advantage of modern tools to improve the game in all its aspects from a technological point of view. As expected, the textures, lighting, and animation have been significantly improved. Features like ray tracing, volumetric effects, and 3D audio add to the feeling of immersion and help bring the USG Ishimura to life. Plus, one of the most impactful advancements in technology eliminates loading screens and allows always-on access to each level, providing an uninterrupted and immersive experience from start to finish. Dead Space looks are dedicated to classic elements. Immersion is a big part of Dead Space, and the remake promises to not only regain immersion, but increase it. Franchise staples return, like player health and stasis visible on Isaac Clarke's costume, as well as world menus for inventory, audio logs, and more. By adding a single-shot camera, this allows players to constantly engage in and around USG Ishimura, even when traveling to new areas or observing story moments. The story of Dead Space is also being improved. For example, Clarke's girlfriend Nicole is the main motivating factor behind her actions, and the developers expanded on her story in the remake. Other story elements were also slightly changed, such as the introduction of the Church of Scientology at the beginning of the game, as well as the expansion of Clarke's background, thoughts, and motivations. The world is also a big part of the story, as USG Ishimura himself serves as a character. Powered by the Frostbite engine, Dead Space's creepy and breathtaking sci-fi environments come to life in modern times. The most notable change to the story, however, is the fact that Isaac Clarke is fully voiced this time around. This doesn't mean that he's sparking conversations or talking to himself all the time, which would distract too much from the original. Instead, he only responds when spoken to, so he doesn't sit still and do as he's told. Considering side quests have been added to the remake, this is certainly a welcome change to further feature Clarke. The original voice actor was even brought back to include the new vocal lines in the remake, among other new sound effects. A live system and intensity director increase immersion. For those who played the original, many would agree that Dead Space has one of the best sound designs of any game to date. The thunderous clank of the desolate mining spaceship, the eerie distant screams, the unsettling clank of off-screen enemies, and the desperate gasps of the player character all combine to create a deep sense of isolation and despair. To support the already exceptional sound design, Emotive introduces the Alive system, which stands for Adrenaline, Limbic System Response, Intelligent Dialogue, Vitals, and Exertions. Alive adjusts Clarke's breathing, heart rate, and voice based on her current physical and mental state. When injured, players will hear him growl and moan in dialogue and struggle to catch their breath. When he encounters a fear of jumping and exercises by running or stomping, his heart rate and breathing will quicken. These sound effects are superimposed over the base heart and breathing rates, which is a great example of how Emotive adds to what's already great rather than completely changing the game. The intensity of each situation is further communicated to the player based on what is actually happening around them. In addition to the Alive system, the Intensity Director is another brand new underlying system added to the remake. Since the world of Dead Space is now permanent and players can travel freely between areas of the ship, the Intensity Director resolves the sense of comfort by entering previously explored environments. This system dynamically adjusts the atmosphere on subsequent visits to previously explored areas by changing the lighting, sounds, and even enemies in the environment. This means that each room a player visits can look different with each visit, adding to the tension and suspense with each turn. Dead Space will be released on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X on January 27, 2023. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and support my channel.